got my tea.
Good,
did I.
Dane.
Oh, you can't
Are you
beat
having a
bone
few?
china. You just can't.
That's true. Absolutely. I won't drink tea out of anything else.
Good morning again, Robert. Nice to see you on
Hello.
screen.
Good to see
Good
you.
morning with my big chunky mug.
Oh, no,
I'm a
you
bit
were
the same.
listening.
That's okay. Men are allowed to do that.
Hi, Paul. How you going?
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I've got my
Paul,
tea.
I'd like to introduce.
Good.
Good, just as well. Yeah, we've just been through all that with who drinks out of chunky mugs and fine china.
I think Robert's got the best one so far.
We're doing it a bit on the cheap this year. Last year we sent out packages with tea bags and Tim Tams and
Yes, I
everyone
was
got
waiting
these.
for it.
We're doing the Apple versus Windows thing, Paul.
Yeah, I'm a Mac. I'm a Mac.
Hey!
And
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of us
Yeah.
on Mac.
Well,
Oh,
I've got a
dear.
MacBook, but it doesn't get open very often. Brett, one of the ASCCA directors, he says, once you've got a Mac, there's no going back.
I used
Great.
an Apple computer for the first time in 1993, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Oh, I started
Well, I'm
in
afraid I started.
1989
Wow. Yeah.
Well done.
on a Mac.
Well,
Yeah.
I've
I
never
first
used a
started
PC.
before Windows was even invented. 1976, 2nd of October, 1976. That's when I started using computers, and I haven't stopped since.
Very
The
good.
first laptop I used was in 1990, I think it was, and it was so heavy. It was like a
Oh,
brick. Yeah.
Was that the
Yeah.
G4?
I don't remember what it was, but it was a
Yeah.
green screen, and we're using it for Excel, and there was no mouse, so you had to do the arrow buttons to get to all the cells and etc. But it was long time ago. Jennifer still wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
So,
good.
and before Excel was even invented, we used to use Lotus 123.
Yep. I remember Lotus 123. Yeah.
The first Excel was written for Mac.
We used to
Right.
use an accounting software system called Solution 6, which was dubbed Problem 6 because it was just full of bugs and what have you. But yeah, that's what that was the main use of the laptop back then, was just to run the basic accounting system. Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, I ran a mainframe
Yeah. Wow.
that had
Yeah.
its own view and its own computer system.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unreal.
I'm just thinking about what I'm going to be talking about today and how far we've come since then. So,
Since then,
all right.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So
There
with all
certainly
that
is.
history, I was involved in Defence's evaluation of the Lisa back in the early 80s. And we decided that it wouldn't suit our needs as a personal computer.
I guess that we should kick off, and I'd like to welcome everybody along today, and hopefully some of the others who've registered are able to join us in a little while. It's really a bit of a privilege, not a bit, a great privilege for ASCCA to have been once again invited to be the ambassador for Get Online Week. ASCCA's association with Be Connected goes back to late 2017, when we first formed an alliance with them, and our first grant was from early 2018, and it's just grown from strength to strength from then. And Natika came on board pretty much right at the beginning, and the terrible two from the west have chugged along quite nicely ever since. I think we've sort of shown some of the other organisations how we can form partnerships with other network partners and grow the network as well for ASCCA, as well as Be Connected, and obviously supporting the seniors. What I would like to do is see if we can't rejig our idea of an e-club and pick up lots of the orphans that are still around Australia.
Mhm.
So anyway, welcome to Get Online Week, and we're all well armed with our coffee and tea. As Natika indicated a little while ago, we've got some exciting news, and she did the grunt work, so I'll let her do the announcement. But first of all, I'd just like to acknowledge that Natika is wearing her Paul Harris Fellowship medal pin from Rotary, and just recently she passed this incredible course through University of Sydney. So I can see that ASCCA will and its members will get some great benefit from that going forward. So thanks, Teague. You've done the grunt work, and watch this space, folks. You ain't seen nothing yet, as they say.
Thanks, Jen. Yes, welcome everybody. I just want to make a quick acknowledgement that for the elders past, present and emerging from the lands that we're all meeting on today, because we're scattered across this fair country. I'm on
Yes.
Mirrawong country, but we're representing lots of different countries today. So thank you everyone for popping in and spending some time with us. And as Jen said, we do have something very exciting to tell you. We have been successful in what they're calling round 1, but it's actually round 10 in our brain for the capacity building grant. So as Jen mentioned, we have been involved with Be Connected's capacity building grants from the very get-go. And this means that we've got capacity to work with organisations again in the Northern Territory and remote and regional Western Australia to source some more digital mentors, to go back to our previous peak body network partners, etc., and go and see if they need some more support. We'll do some follow-up for our existing mentors. So Robert's participated in one of our sessions in Perth in the past, and so he's just mentioned earlier when we were just having a settle-in chat that they've had a bit of a turnover. So that's where we keep sort of coming back and offering our support and our experts in subject matter, I suppose, for all of our friends and partners in other peak bodies around the state and into the territory. So we're very excited to be able to be popping down to Seniors Week in Perth at some point in the next couple of months, and we'd like to keep everybody's eyes on what's happening through our social media pages and our e-news, etc. So we'll keep you all up to date. We will be doing some more online training for digital mentors. So if you are not in WA or the NT and you do want to put someone through the digital mentor training, then we're more than happy to be able to pick up extras outside of our catchment area. So we don't turn anyone away, that's for sure. So yes, it's very exciting that we're back in the game, and we've had a bit of a break this time. There's been a few months break between capacity builder grants, and so it's very nice that we've come back refreshed with a new enthusiasm for digital mentor training and support. So that brings me to what I want to talk about this morning. Who has a smartphone?
Yeah.
Who has a smartphone? They're getting even smarter. Has everyone heard about the new AI built-in features? I think Samsung have had theirs in for a little while already. Apple's new iPhone 16 is built for Apple's AI. Hey, Danny, welcome.
Hello.
You're on mute, Danny. Yeah, that's okay. We might get Danny to say hello. Danny's from Good Things Foundation, so thank you so much for joining us.
Hi there, everyone. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I had a few technical issues, but hey, that's just the world.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We've just.
Did you bring a note?
We are sharing our cups of tea or coffee and what vessel we're using. So the vessel of choice for tea has been fine bone China in some necks of the wood, but some of us are not so fancy. I see Karen has a Yeti or something like that. Have you got one of the, yep, good old Yeti. Oh, I love it.
Robert's got
Very
a bit of
good.
an unusual one too. Chunky mug.
Yes.
Look at
So yes, it's
A
very,
cat
very
with a
good.
beret, so it's a
Felix.
very sophisticated Parisian cat.
Parisian cat, a cool cat. So yeah, so I was talking about the new AI features and so forth in all of these smartphones. Has anyone got a Samsung Galaxy A or S24? No? No, we did determine that there's quite a few Mac users in here, so I didn't think that one would be in there. So they've been using their AI in their smartphones for the last model. Apple have waited till it was perfect, as they tend to do. And
Always do.
yes, theirs hasn't quite dropped on the iPhone 16s yet, so that's a software update, but it's very exciting, the things that they are going to be able to do. So I did have a quick look at there's a 5-minute Apple Intelligence on iPhone YouTube clip that I'd love to share with you. And then there's also the Google Pixel 9 that has got AI features in it. So we might have a quick look at the Google Pixel one as well at some point, just so that we're not having favourites, etc.
Yes.
So
Anyway.
just so that everyone's included. Can you hear that?
Your iPhone is the personal product in your life. It's part of so many things that make you, you. Now, we're bringing together that personal context with the power of generative models to deliver intelligence that understands you. Starting with writing tools. You'll be able to rewrite hastily written notes into a polished dinner party invite. Adjust the tone of that Slack message to your boss to sound a little more professional. Or proofread your latest review on Goodreads before posting it to your fellow bookworms. Sometimes the best way to get your point across isn't with words, it's with emoji. You'll be able to create new emoji simply by typing a description, or create fun original images with Image Playground. Suppose you've got a photo in mind that you took ages ago but can't remember exactly when or where. Just describe it, and Apple Intelligence will find it for you. It even works for getting straight to a specific moment in a video. You'll also be able to create an entire movie just by typing a description of whatever you have in mind. Apple Intelligence will automatically find relevant photos and videos and smartly arrange them into a storyline. Apple Intelligence on iPhone 16 will help you prioritize and focus on your most essential communication. In Mail, you'll see summaries that convey the most useful information. Your notifications will be summarized too. And priority notifications will be placed at the top of your stack, so you won't miss a last-minute invitation. Your iPhone is with you everywhere you go, and we wanted to give you the ability to instantly learn about everything you see with iPhone 16's new camera control. Suppose you stumble upon a restaurant you haven't been to before. With just a click, your iPhone instantly pulls up restaurant hours and quick options to check out the menu or make a reservation. And say you come across a flyer for an interesting event. Just click and add it to your calendar in the blink of an eye. What kind of dog is that? Now you know. If you come across a bike that looks exactly like the kind you're in the market for, just tap to search Google for where you can buy something similar. And if you're stuck on a particular concept, just use the camera control to ask ChatGPT for guidance. Apple Intelligence marks the start of a new era for Siri. With richer language understanding, Siri will follow along if you stumble over your words.
What's the weather tomorrow morning at Muir Beach? Oops, I mean Muir Woods. The forecast is calling for clear skies in the morning near Muir Woods National Monument.
And you'll always have the option to type to Siri when you want to make your request a little more discreetly. Siri will give you step-by-step guidance on how to do something on your iPhone, like deleting duplicate photos from your library. This will be great for anyone new to iPhone. And it will be able to take hundreds of new actions in your apps, like updating a friend's contact card with his new address, or adding a set of photos to a specific album. Apple Intelligence draws on the immense power of our silicon to run multiple generative models on the iPhone in your pocket. For more computationally intensive tasks, Apple Intelligence can unlock even more intelligence with private cloud compute. Private cloud compute maintains the privacy and security of your iPhone while giving you access to generative models much larger than what fits in your pocket today. When you draw on private cloud compute, your data is never stored or shared with Apple. It's used only to fulfill your requests. And in a first for the industry, independent experts can continuously verify this privacy promise. This is an extraordinary step forward for privacy and AI. With new ways to express yourself and relive memories, along with tools to help you prioritize and focus so you can get more done, Apple Intelligence is going to transform so much of what you do with iPhone.
A little bit exciting, isn't it?
I want one.
Yeah, I want the software to drop so I can start using it. It's very, very exciting, the things that it can do, and it's all aimed at making life easier for us, the end users. However, I think it opens up a new challenge for us as digital mentors and supporting older people with technology, because there's a whole lot there that the phone's running off and doing things, and it might be a little bit scary. I mean, Apple hanging their hat on their privacy, as they always do, which is great. And the fact that they're integrating ChatGPT in there, and it's straight from the camera and all of that sort of stuff. So it's very exciting, the world moving forward in artificial and generative AI. However, it can be quite daunting and scary. So it's our role as champions of the digital era to be able to take reassurance to our learners and to our clubs, etc. And by us as mentors understanding what's in there and what it's doing and how it's doing it, and having our heads around the security and the privacy of it all is a really important part of our role as digital mentors. So yeah, it's is anyone feeling a bit daunted by all of this AI? Yeah, Karen?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
I just make note that our board treasurer, Dallas, she's just bought one, and she will be in the Bubs class learning how to utilize all the functions, or even if she attempts all the functions. But what you said about our role too, Teak, that's very important, more so these days, in the fact that you know, a lot of people don't really live right around the corner from a computer club or somewhere that can teach them bits and pieces. And in actual fact, I'm working right at the moment with Scott, who was the director of ASCCA and is the CEO of Centre for Accessibility and for Australia. And they have a person in Canberra who has got a new phone, not an iPhone, but he's having dreadful difficulties setting it up. And so I've been appealing to different clubs in the vague vicinity to see if they can possibly come to the assistance of this chap who has physical disabilities. So it's very real out there, and it is scary, absolutely. Not that I'm trying to push people away from clubs by any means, but I just question, has anybody used the facility that's been purchased now by Officeworks called Geeks to You? Because I've had a look quite a few times on their websites, and you know, if there's not a club near you or a network partner, and I must say that I haven't checked in the last couple of weeks, but good things on their Be Connected site had, facilities like a library or something, where you could go and get some help or go take lessons, Be Connected lessons and whatever. And that's been removed, I think, because of a web upgrade, but it's been down for ages. So it needs to come up fairly soon if you can press a few buttons. And it is, Susan, but if you've got nothing else, they will come to your home if you're disabled, and you can take it into the Officeworks. They do have a service desk there, and there's an Officeworks probably more close than some other places, because libraries don't. While libraries are a good accessible facility, they're not geeky for this. It's getting so complex that you need a bit of an expert to help people do this. So it was just a thought.
So if you buy an Apple anything, you get 10 days free talk with Apple online, and that can set people up whether they're disabled or not, and that's another reason for buying Apple.
I've often found printers aren't as easy to connect as you think, because you'd think you should just be able to plug it in and point to it and it works, but I've been at places and they just don't work. So can I ask a question about the AI on iPhone? Do you know if it's like it's all or nothing? You can't just say I want AI to work in this area but not that area?
I think it is all or nothing. However, that software update hasn't dropped yet. So I do think that potentially that you'll be able to turn things on and off in Apple, because they're very good at giving the end user control of where and what and how. So keep an eye on their YouTube channel's great. They have a lot of little bits and pieces on there, or their website. Or are you in a metro area, Karen?
Yes, I'm in Brisbane.
Yeah, so the Apple store is pretty good. You can just pop in there anytime if you're fortunate enough to be near one. So they're pretty good. I did have a friend and colleague that Jen's been hanging out with last week who put a post on her Facebook the other day that she was in the Apple store in Perth, because Perth's just had the big local government conference for the week, and she filled out her details and did the swipe to text, and the Apple genius didn't know you could do that. So she was pretty happy that she taught the genius how to swipe to text when she was putting her details in. So yeah.
But Natika,
she's
I think
the reason we've got a first iPhone, because I talked to her at a CRC conference in Pemberton many years ago. Yeah, she's a one-eyed Apple.
I am these days. Yes, Paul.
But I think the full extent of the AI in Apple, it only applies to the new phones. So the old phones won't be able to, haven't got the chip to be able to do that. So, but eventually that catches up, right? So they won't upgrade the old operating system, and then they'll force you onto it. So
it is pushing, and that's ultimately what they're wanting to do, is get everyone onto the newest devices. Obviously, the more up to date you are, that, I mean, comes with a bit of a cost barrier for a lot of our users. Like you said, Susan, that fixed incomes, etc. They're not the cheapest products, Apple. I like to turn mine over every couple of years just so that there's still a bit of value in the one, so I can sell that and get the new one, or I can make sure that I can give my other ones to family members who might not be able to afford to update as often. So there are, and I think good things are definitely working on that affordability barrier for a lot of people, to help them get online. So it's probably not a bad thing that it's only the newest ones that are pulling this AI into their devices. Gives us nerdy nerds a chance to get across it and how it works, so that we're better placed to support people in theirs and be able to actually make informed decisions about what functionality you need and what you don't need, and all of that sort of stuff. So Anyone else have any comments or observations or questions about the Apple? I just want to say hi, your warrior. I just saw you pop in, so nice to have you on board. If you want to unmute your mic and your camera, you're most welcome.
Morning. Thank you for having me. Just interesting discussion. I'm a passive listener, but
yeah, fine, no problem.
Not very old member, so yeah, learning along the way.
Yeah, sure, no problems. Now, does anybody else have anything to add to the Apple conversation, or shall we pop over to the?
Only that it puts one of these wherever we are. How's that? You see it?
That's the only downside for backgrounds. Oh, you're
I know.
No.
Look at that test button phone fails. Look at that. You can't beat that, can you? How's that?
Still looks too young to be in a museum, that thing, but
it's an essential in the country. When you don't live in mobile range, you have to have something, yes, that sometimes works.
Yes. My kids can't believe that we used to have to sit in one spot to talk on the phone.
Yes.
And then you used to have to get off the phone so other people could ring.
Correct. And you used to have to get off the phone so you could use the internet even. How far we've come.
Yep.
Now we're walking around. This so I've got 3 minutes worth of the Google Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro. So I might just share that one and then we can have a bit of a chat about that as well, if that's okay with everyone.
Yes.
We've got to keep it even. We can't play too many favourites here. Right. So that's a bit cool, isn't it? All of the things that you can do in there. The photo editing in device is pretty amazing. I've just started using some of the AI features in Canva. They have an amazing photo editing tool in there. You used to have to go and select the item you want to remove out of an image like they did with that one, but now it will just AI will find what you're trying to take out and it will just remove it and make the background look, I mean, obviously depending on background, but it's pretty impressive. So it helps make those photographs just exactly what you need. I had one for a client the other day that they had a group photo and someone's no longer working for the organisation, but it was a lovely photo. So we just removed that person out of the workshop snapshot and happy days. We didn't have to call everyone back in to take a new photo. It was it's really good. So it's very impressive. I mean, I remember back in the days when we were learning Photoshop, Jen, back in the resource centres and the tele centres, and pixel by pixel removing things and trying to make it look okay. And it was just labour intensive and tough. Now you can do it on a device that's in your pocket. So it's very, very exciting.
I know, I did that late at night on a map, removing some advertising that was over this significant part. What worries me is I'm a bit concerned about it, that I suspect the legal fraternity might be a bit twitchy over this, because normally, a photograph is dead set proof of something. So now they probably have to wonder, what's make-believe and how can you tell if it's make-believe? So all this evidentiary proof might just be whisking out the window. So anyway, watch this space, I guess.
Yes, and there is still the big challenge that these generative AI tools are not always accurate. They are prone to what's called hallucinations in their outcomes or in their outputs. So you can't trust everything that it spits out. It's not necessarily true. So we do need.
This is what a lot of people say about the internet anyway, isn't it?
So I mean, being AI, it's going to learn from its experiences. So it'll get good at the more common applications, and anything outside that will always struggle with. I've, as part of a course I did on photography, where we had to look at at the AI generated by AI, and we were asked to give it some prompts and what have you. And I asked it to come up with a fountain pen sitting in a pen box, and it couldn't do it. It just didn't know what a fountain pen was. I tried different combinations, and it really struggled. I had fountains and and all that kind of stuff, but not the.
Well,
this
that's
wasn't
where
too
we
long
need
ago.
Robert's teams, all of the museums that are digitising collections, to just keep digitising those antiques and the collections in museums around the countryside, so that we can feed those AI learning tools.
I disagree. I think we should starve it and keep it away, and save some stuff away from the AI, and maintain its integrity rather than actually losing it. See, my passions are photography and writing, and AI's taken over that. It's just I look at that stuff and I cringe to think, it's so easy to create stuff now without having to actually take a photo.
Without the brain drain and thinking about it for days, how you're going to compose and compile something sort of that's got a bit of body in it, and substance. Yes. Well,
Danny has her hand up, so.
Thanks, Tick. I do agree with Paul in that AI is taking over a lot of the things that we used to do very in a wholesome way. But I do know that's one of the things that Good Things Foundation is really pushing with a lot of their education, is to teach people to critically look at what they're seeing, and giving people the knowledge and the skills to be able to evaluate if something is actually genuine, or has it been doctored in some way by AI or enhanced, and so on. So, with all the people that you interact with, I think it's really important that we try and hang on to that wholesomeness as much as we possibly can. But in saying that, AI is here and it's going to go gangbusters. So we need to be teaching people how to look after themselves, so how to keep themselves safe, and how to actually start to use that skills in being able to critically evaluate whether if something is legit or not, so that they can stay safe online.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So there are some, like Danny said, there are some amazing resources on the Be Connected .esafety and in what used to be the topic library. So there's a whole bunch of reading materials in there. There are podcasts, there are training resources. So there's no reason we shouldn't be able to support our learners and our organisations to make sure that we're across what's happening in this space. Good Things are doing some great work in there, and it's up to us as the mentors or the trainers in our clubs, etc., to be able to have a good understanding of that I don't even know what the word is, of this new revolution, I suppose. Yeah, it's a tool. That's exactly right. There's a whole bunch of tools, so we need to be across that to better support our seniors and be able to answer their questions, etc. So yeah.
Oh, good. Excellent. Everyone's working very hard in the background, I take it.
Yeah,
indeed they are.
Excellent. So I think part of our next lot of capacity building, we'll work towards having a monthly online forum again for our digital mentors that we've trained and supported, and the other ones coming in, just to help keep across the AI and the updates and things that are coming in. So keep your eyes out on our socials and our e-news, etc., for details of what's happening and when, for what we'll be doing in the next 12 months. So, and Danny's just said there's more resources coming soon. So it's really useful to keep on top of that. So I was
thinking perhaps we could also go and visit our friend at Apple and ask her if she'd be willing to come on sometime again and give us a rundown of the latest thing from Apple's perspective as well. Bit like the YouTube was.
Yeah, so there's a lot of accessibility stuff built into your Apple devices as well, and all of them, I'm assuming, but obviously Apple's where my head is mostly. So yes, Paul, sorry.
I was just going to, it would be good if we can get Apple or Google or whoever to help, you know, fine tune those presentations and those videos to highlight the features that are actually going to help the members of our clubs, as opposed to a lot of it's a lot of fun, and changing background and photos is fun, but what problems is that solving? But I'm sure in amongst all that, there are some tools that can solve some problems and really go a long way to help our members. So if we can find a way to get to what those answers are and focus our training on that, I think that'd be pretty good too. Yeah.
Yes, part of that Apple one was that there's the built-in how-to bits and pieces. So now you can just ask Siri, and well, not yet, but she'll be more proficient at giving you step-by-step instructions on how to do things on device, rather than sort of having to have another device to go and do a search on and wading through a gazillion different bits and pieces. So being able to get very specific dot point step-by-step bits and pieces, that I can only think of that as being a good thing for our no pun intended for our end users. So yeah. Okay, anyone else have anything to talk about, any tech delights that they've found, or any Get Online Week events that they've got planned for their club or their organisation? Okay. Susan's got a hand up. Yep.
No, just on what you were saying, Natika, I found that when you ask a device for instructions on how to do something, it will disappear as soon as you take the first step. So I suggest to people that they take a screenshot of that screen before they move on, so that then they keep it in the background and they know where to find it, so that they can refer back to it, and that makes it so much easier. Done.
Yes, that's a great
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. You are
Susan, could I just ask? Oh, sorry, just a question on with Susan. Do you deal with AI in any of your sessions on your Saturday sessions?
We've done one session, yes, an introduction to AI at a basic level, and I'm trying to find someone who knows a lot about it to be able to speak, but I haven't found anybody yet. I think it's relatively new, and we're all experimenting at the moment, so I haven't got a guru, no.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe we can join forces and tap on Apple's shoulder.
I'll flick you an email after this, Susan, see what it is that you're looking for, if we can maybe give you a hand with that. So yeah. Yuwaria.
Thank you very much. So for events like you mentioned, I'm planning to speak to Rotary on one on Friday. But this morning I was thinking if I could just ask the person I'm talking to about the age group of usually the people who attend, so it's more touching on their needs. But then I was still a bit doubtful. Does it sound very ageist to ask? Can you tell me if it's like 60 plus people or like 50 plus age group or?
I think with Get Online Week, you can just throw the net out to anyone. It doesn't matter, and then you sort of get a feel for what your group is after, and build a support service moving forward from there, I suppose.
Oh, right. That's a great idea. And for Susan's question as well, I have worked on a few AI tools recently. I was just playing around, trying to find out what all of these are doing, because there's like enormous number of them doing a few things differently. So I can post a summary for you if you like, and then you can see what the requirement is.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
No worries.
Excellent. So Yuwari is on LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to look her up on LinkedIn for any of that support. So Yuwari came along to one of our last round 9 digital mentor training sessions, and we do touch on AI with that a fair bit. So just to sort of set that expectation with our mentors moving forward, that this is, this might be one of the things that is one of the obstacles and the barriers for our learners, etc. So definitely keeping on top of it all is really good. So yeah, thank you. I'm just going to do a whip around the room because we're in our last 10 minutes already. Oh my goodness. So Susan, do you have anything further to add? You're all good?
No, all good, thank you.
Lovely. Robert, what about you? How are you feeling about all of this?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of conversations that need to be had yet in the museums and galleries and collecting areas about AI and the protection of the integrity of our images. We are using it extensively, not to generate content, but to refine our content, labels, and really looking at readability and summarizing down, and that's been very useful. But we're working from trusted knowledge and then asking AI to refine that in certain directions. So it's but there's lots more conversations I think to be had to address some of Paul's concerns about maintaining the integrity of original images and not losing control of that and maintaining the authenticity of collections. So thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Robert. Mike.
Yeah, I've been using Copilot a lot to help with my first responder work on our 1-800 helpline, particularly where somebody comes up with an issue that I really don't know much about in the first place. It gets me into it and gets me started. That's quite helpful. But the other thing, I've been following the legal battles going on with the Internet Archive in the States, and there are actually some quite worrying decisions about access to digital material in the future that are going on there. Yeah.
Yes, every time we talk about it, there's angles and tentacles that you don't sort of consider sometimes until somebody else talks about it. So it is a very, very big topic these days, and I think we need to all do everything we can as digital mentors and as organisations that are supporting older people so that we're as informed as we can be. So yeah, well done.
The other thing I'm trying to work on, I haven't really found the time to do it properly yet, is trying to get some online training courses going since the demise of our physical training room. That's been a bit of a problem, and so I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, Mike, remind me, you're in Brisbane? No, Canberra.
I'm in Brisbane, but I'm with the Canberra PC users group.
Sure. All right. Well, there are some conversations happening in the ASCCA sphere about that sort of stuff. So I'm sure that we might be able to put you in touch with some people that might have some ideas and things. But yeah, I think physical location has been an issue for a number of our clubs in this post-COVID rebuild phase. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Watch this space, Mike.
Yeah. Erith.
I promise you so.
Erith.
Yeah. So, I haven't got anything really to contribute about what you've all been talking about, except it's interesting about physical space. Where I'm in Sydney, Northern Beaches, and my club has been so fortunate in having recovered from COVID. And we were able to maintain our training room, which is part of a community centre. And, you know, we're still doing really well. We've been very lucky that we've managed to get through all of that. So we have nearly, I think, 50 students per term. We're on a 10-week term, and they come once a week for 1 hour. So we're doing, you know, really well. But we're you know, we're the exception. You know, we're working cooperatively with all our computer pals in our area and extending further out in Sydney. And everyone's battling to get students. Where our problem is getting trainers. So our trainers, we've got trainers in our club. They've been there for more than 20 years. And they're getting on in, you know, they're getting tired, they're getting on. And I think we really need new blood, but we're having a real problem getting trainers coming in, the younger, that have a lot of that knowledge that we need nowadays, because a lot of us have just, you know, we're okay at the beginning. We could teach seniors how to get started, but now it's getting more complex. You know, we need a new influx really, but it's not coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not on topic. It had nothing to do with AI as such, but I had to just comment the Google Pixel 9 3-minute segment was geared at kids, at young kids. I mean, it wasn't even geared at.
I think they all are, Erith, I think.
It wasn't geared at the, you know, people in their 30s or it was like teenagers and 20s, kids in their 20s. So what Paul was saying is true. If we want to sort of talk to our seniors about it, we have to try and get some sort of material that's very much geared at their age. So
just off topic about the targeting, has anyone seen the latest Woolies ad about the app to compare unit prices?
I noticed that. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. I'm actually thinking we might share it on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
so
I was
keep an eye
thinking
on
the same. Yeah, they turned the cards on the elderly person's helping the young person.
Yep, it was great, and I think that's exactly where our clubs are empowering our seniors to be able to be in a position to show these younger mums and dads how some of the technology is working. It was really well done. So okay, I'll see
on
if I
that
can
same
find...
topic or similar. I noticed when I was in Perth a couple of times back, and I went to Coles, at the checkout, they have a little leaflet that you pick up, how to recognise a scam or avoid scams or whatever. And that was put out, and I thought, you know, that was really quite a proactive move on their part. Because there's not just for seniors, everybody, you know. So there's so many people who are just so vulnerable and not trained with their eyes and brains to pick up these scams. They are very gullible, very. So doing it at the checkout is not, I thought that's good of Coles.
I have got that ad here. Just stand by and I'll play it for you before we go on to Karen. I just think it's I saw it first over the weekend. So.
But what's the best value?
Oh, excuse me. What about this? The Woolies app. You just press the best unit price button and, oh, there you go. All sorted, showing the lowest unit price first.
Impressive.
Saw it on my socials.
Helping you easily compare unit prices? That's today.
How good was that?
Excellent.
I just thought it was wonderful.
Can I just apologise? I have to actually go because I've got to go to a lesson.
Thank you, Iris.
So thank you very much, but I'm going to have to say goodbye to everyone.
No
Sorry.
worries.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you,
us,
Iris.
Iris. Lovely
Thanks,
to
Iris.
see you
Glad to
again.
meet you. I was going
Bye.
to say, gee, I bet that lady who helped the younger lady had gone through one of our courses, right? One of our club members.
I know.
Yeah, it had to
Yes.
be.
We could do some
Yeah.
co-branding there.
I think so as well. Yep. Karen, how about you?
I've only come across ChatGPT in the last month, my first attempt at looking at it.
Oh.
So I'm still a real novice with trying to work out what it does do and what it doesn't do.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at
I think my
videos.
favorite. Yeah, good. Yep. So my favorite thing for ChatGPT is helping to create descriptions for alt text on images, etc., for websites and Facebook and stuff like that. And it just helps. It's a bit less of a brain strain when you're putting half a dozen images into one article or something like that. It's a nice way to have a nice descriptive SEO rich description of images,
Yes.
etc.
Yep.
That's too, because to support the move that ASCCA made several years ago, that everything we put out is accessible, totally, fully accessible. So there's all this background stuff that needs to be done to make it so.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen. Yuwari, do you have anything further to add?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll add a few points continuing the conversation. I recently had to purchase like bulk of gift cards actually, and they didn't allow me. On top of the scams, they said in one transaction I can only buy 2 gift cards and that's it. They didn't even let me. And I was like, look, I work in cybersecurity. I know what's going on, and I am an expert pretty much. I know what I'm doing with it. But they were like, no, you check out now and then you come back tomorrow and then you buy more cards. You are not buying more than 2 cards. So it's I know that they have that information thing at the checkout for a very long time, but this was really I felt like being parented. It was brutal. Like, don't buy more than 2.
I suppose it's there's probably come back on them in the past when people have gone to buy cards and they've sort of gone back to get refunds or something or something. So maybe that's why they've put those out. It's good to see them taking even small steps like that to try and protect their customers.
Great steps. And I think it is another GPT. Probably perplexity.ai or Gemini. So what happens is when you put a prompt in and it gives you the description, it actually suggests you 3 follow-up prompts as well. Pretty much like I would say maybe what is Get Online Week about? And then it will tell me what that is about. And then it will give me 3 prompts, maybe what date it is happening, what are the activities happening for Get Online Week and all this. So it kind of suggests like follow-up prompts as well to kind of, do you just need to think anymore?
Exactly.
You're right there, you don't. No, and Natika and I have used it together in conjunction to pull some descriptive text together, and after a little while it gets to know your personality, and if its first attempt is a bit sort of brusque or masculine or board material and you want it a bit soft and fluffy because it's a female, it can just turn it into soft and fluffy, which I think is very good.
Yeah, that's right. Natika, did you see my post where I said, the GPT to tell me about what Javeria is doing? So based on they were kind of tracking what I was looking at all the time, what I was searching, and all this kind of things. What the posts I was creating, content I was looking at, and put it all together. I just put a prompt in, what do you know about Javeria? And then it just threw it all back at me. I was like, wow.
Yes, yep. So Yuaria's LinkedIn has she's asked ChatGPT what it thinks of her and some feedback on things that she needs to work on. So it's like a self-awareness tool. So I did the same on mine. It was quite interesting. So I've been using ChatGPT for 18 months now. So it has got a bit, but I use it with clients as well. So it knows I thought I was in the health industry, so obviously I have a few clients that are in the health and wellbeing industry. So yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure. So yes, thank you. Oh, so Karen's just dropped out, her audio's gone. So
Yes.
good morning, Tracy Ann, welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. I think I'll stick back and we'll have a bit of a chat after if you like, so you can catch you up. So, but yeah, Paul's our last one. If you wanted to do a wrap up or.
Look, I'll just first I want to say what a pleasure it was to meet everybody and be part of this. It's my first sort of online gathering, and it's been great. Thank you to Natika and to Jennifer for organising this, and thank you to everyone for attending. On AI, about 10 years ago, I did some work with an AI company that had very advanced AI technology at their fingertips, and they were trying to, out of the US, trying to set up a head office in Asia Pacific, and they were exploring Sydney as a potential. They ended up in Singapore because our government wanted 6 months before they would sit down and meet with them, whereas Singapore government was just throwing money at them and giving them free office space and what have you. So they've gone on to bigger and better things, working with Singapore government on some bigger projects. But one of the things that I remember the founder of the company would warn us about was that AI can do so much and can do so much good, but he said, I'm afraid that it'll end up being used to do things cheaper at the expense of quality. And I think part of what we're seeing is that coming to fruition. So I think for me, AI is about, like anything in our phones, it's we don't want to lose control of our lives and how we use that technology. We don't want the technology to run our lives. We want to use technology to run our lives. And I think if we use it wisely in that sense, I think we're in good stead. But if we let and get lazy and let AI and not run our lives and not question things, as Daniel was saying, then I think we're going to be in a lot of trouble. But once this is over, it's lunchtime here in Sydney. Yeah. I am heading out to make my lunch. Yes. I'm going to do a puzzle with a pen, so I'm not using any technology, old school, and I'm going to take my camera and go out and take some photos of flowers just to remind myself that, you know, there is a natural world out there as well. In the real
world.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That's the mindfulness. All right. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Danny, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we wind up?
Yeah, look, sorry, I love what Paul was just saying. I've just got back from a lovely 1-week holiday in Darwin, and I took a whole heap of beautiful photographs of flowers and the bluest of blue oceans and things like that. Didn't use any AI. It was just nature at its best. So I think we need to keep embracing that wholesomeness and try not to get too caught up with the AI and all the filters and things like that. But once again, for different other aspects of work and life and business, AI does have a place as well. But I think for the many people who have gone before us who have taken beautiful photographs, it's nice just to actually, you know, appreciate beauty and nature for what it actually is. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, and I think with that one, Danielle, it's great to be able to look at a moment in time that you've captured. I've got one of my photographs which you can't see because of my print, my wallpaper on the back wall, that was just taken. I snapped it on my digital camera, yes, but this was 20 years ago, and it just hit the perfect time. There was no live photo back then of the point of ignition of a fire that we were lighting for a campfire, and it's just one of my most favorite photographs. And you think, yeah, you could probably get AI to do that, but it doesn't evoke the memories and the feelings of that. Oh wow, I caught that. How good is that?
Yep, precisely.
Yeah.
Because when you're standing there in the moment, clicking your camera, you've got the smells, you've got your proprioception going, all those other senses are highly activated, and you can't do that when you're looking at an AI generated image.
No, mind you, the Apple Vision Pro is pretty incredible. But oh my goodness, I had a test run of that in Sydney the other week. Oh my goodness, amazing. So Paul's got a lovely background there.
That was just nature last year this time, Heron Island.
Oh, beautiful.
And there was no phone, it was just a proper old school camera, and
Yeah. Maybe we'll have morning tea in the next month and it'll be our favorite moments captured on our digital cameras. How's that? And that can be our backgrounds.
You should show the one that you've got as your business background too, of the clouds and the water.
Oh, the Cocos one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
We'll
That
keep
was a
that for
moment in
next.
time too.
Wasn't it just? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a lovely
Very
morning.
much.
Thank you so much for coming along and spending an hour with us and having a chat about all things tech. And keep your eye on our socials and our e-news, because we've got some info happening in the next little while about what we're doing next for capacity building. So thank you.
Good. Thanks,
Thanks,
folks.
everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.